In the heartland of Nigeria, where sweeping landscapes whisper tales of mystique and ancient wonder, a feud of epic proportions raged between two mythical adversaries, the Nigerian bush baby and Madam Koi Koi. Their battleground? The hallowed, and often haunted, halls of boarding schools scattered across the nation. It all began deep within the shadowy, impenetrable forests of Nigeria. Here dwelled a creature of legend, the Nigerian bush baby, a being both physical and spiritual, whose very presence instilled primal fear in the hearts of those foolish enough to trespass in its domain. Described as a diminutive, dwarf-like figure, covered in coarse hair and possessing a surprisingly muscular physique, the bush baby was said to always carry two essential items: a flickering lantern, casting an eerie glow, and a woven mat, its purpose known only to the creature itself. For centuries, the bush baby had reigned supreme as the undisputed king and guardian of the forest, a role it took with terrifying seriousness. But its dominion extended beyond the trees. The bush baby had also, for countless years, terrorized numerous boarding schools across Nigeria, Ghana, and other parts of Africa, becoming a figure of nightmare for generations of students. Night after night, when students dared to venture out after curfew, perhaps to fetch water from the well, or to engage in forbidden rendezvous, they risked an encounter with this monstrous being. A glimpse of its lantern, a guttural growl in the darkness, and the chase would begin. Students would scatter, their hearts pounding against their ribs, desperate to reach the safety of the dormitories. Those who brazenly broke the rules, sneaking outside for illicit adventures, were especially targeted, often returning to their beds in states of abject terror, forever scarred by the bush baby's haunting presence. The creature reveled in its power, delighting in the chaos and fear it sowed, turning the simple act of walking in the dark into an exercise in sheer, adrenaline-fueled panic. One night, as the bush baby concluded its nightly ritual of terror at a particularly unfortunate boarding school, it ambled back towards the forest, its small feet padding softly on the earth. But as it moved through the trees, a prickling sensation ran down its spine. It sensed another presence, another creature of power lurking nearby. This was unheard of. The bush baby, accustomed to being the apex predator, felt a surge of both surprise and apprehension. Immediately, it raised its lantern, its beam cutting through the darkness. "Who is there?" it demanded, its voice a raspy growl. "Show yourself." From the depths of the forest, a crimson glow emanated, accompanied by a swirling cloud of thick, acrid smoke that stung the bush baby's eyes. And then, she emerged. A spectral figure, the grotesque parody of a woman, her face marred by disfiguring wounds, her feet adorned with a pair of bright red, high-heeled shoes that seemed utterly incongruous in this primeval setting. It was Madam Koi Koi, the red-heeled ghost, a vengeful specter, infamous for the chilling, rhythmic clack-clack-clack of her distinctive red heels as she stalked the corridors of boarding schools. She was once a teacher, a woman known for her beauty, but also her cruel and unforgiving nature. But after a student was badly injured by her, she was murdered by a group of furious students, and since that moment she has been out for revenge. Since her death, she too had haunted boarding schools across Nigeria, Ghana, and beyond, her name synonymous with dread and despair. The bush baby, its lantern held high, glared at the intruder. "What are you doing here?" it growled. "Why have you trespassed into my territory?" Madam Koi Koi's voice, a chilling whisper that seemed to slither into the mind, replied, "I care nothing for your territory, dwarf, nor do I care how long you have squatted in this forest. I am on a mission of vengeance, and no one, not even an ugly little creature like you, lugging around a mat and a lantern as if you own the world, will stop me." The bush baby, its pride wounded, bristled with fury. "Woman," it snarled, "return to the abyss from whence you came. You are dead and you do not belong here." With that, the bush baby turned its back on Madam Koi Koi and stomped away, disappearing into the shadows. But the encounter was far from over. One night, as the bush baby stalked the grounds of a boarding school, seeking unsuspecting victims to terrorize, It heard the unmistakable sound of Madame Koi Koi's heels echoing through the silent halls. Clack, clack, clack. The sound sent shivers down the spines of the students huddled in their beds. But it only fueled the bush baby's rage. It confronted her in the dimly lit corridor. "You again," the bush baby growled. Madame Koi Koi's spectral face twisted into a mocking smile. "Yes, little dwarf. We meet again." The bush baby's voice was filled with venom. "I told you to leave. These are my hunting grounds." Madame Koi Koi laughed, a chilling sound that seemed to vibrate the very air. "You may be the king of the forest, but these school territories are mine. Vengeance is mine. These students must pay for what they did to me. My mission will continue." The bush baby, accustomed to unchallenged dominion, had never encountered such defiance. Its pride wounded, its rage ignited. It lunged at Madame Koi Koi, claws extended. The Red Lady was quick to defend herself, and it turned into an epic battle that sent shockwaves through the boarding school. Students huddled beneath their blankets, the sound of their prayers mixing with whispers of supernatural beings, as fear invaded their dreams. But the battle was long from over. Madame Koi Koi was a terrifying foe, with both of them using all of their might to attack one another. Madame Prudence, the headmistress of Unity Academy, was renowned for her strict discipline and iron fist. Even in death, Madame Koi Koi didn't fail to enforce her twisted and wicked rules. Any student caught breaking the rules faced her wrath at night, as she suddenly appeared in her red heels, with her wooden staff that she used to haunt the offenders of the school to administer punishment by flogging them at night while they sleep. The students of Unity Academy found themselves caught in the crossfire of this epic rivalry. The eerie cries of the bush baby echoed through the corridors, while the ominous clacking of Madame Koi Koi's red heels sent shivers down their spines. The bush baby, armed with its lantern and mat, used its cunning and agility to outsmart its adversary. It laid traps and ambushes, employing its baby cries to lure Madame Koi Koi into its clutches. Yet Madame Koi Koi, with her formidable red heels as her weapon, proved to be a formidable opponent. She prowled the halls with a relentless determination, striking fear into the hearts of the students with each menacing step. The battle between the two legendary creatures intensified with each passing night, their clashes sending shock waves through the school. Students whispered tales of near misses and narrow escapes, recounting encounters with the bush baby's haunting cries and Madame Koi Koi's chilling presence. As the tension between the bush baby and Madame Koi Koi reached its peak, the students found themselves caught during a battle unlike any they had ever witnessed. Dormitories became battlegrounds, with the bush baby's mat and lantern serving as its weapons of choice, while Madame Koi Koi's red heels struck with deadly precision as she always used it to knock the bush baby's head due to its tiny structure. In the dead of night, the school was enveloped in darkness, broken only by the flickering light of the bush baby's lantern and the haunting sound of Madame Koi Koi's heels. The students huddled together in fear, their only solace the knowledge that dawn would soon break, bringing an end to the nightmarish battle raging around them. But as the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the students emerged from their dormitories to find the school transformed. The corridors bore the scars of battle, with shattered lanterns and torn mats scattered amidst the debris. As the tension between the bush baby and Madame Koi Koi escalated, the students' fear reached its peak. Frustrated and desperate, they decided they had had enough. They couldn't bear another night of terror and uncertainty. Gathering together in solidarity, the students organized a protest to the principal's office. With determination in their hearts, they demanded action. They pleaded for their safety and urged the principal to intervene and rid the school of these terrifying entities once and for all. The principal, moved by the students' impassioned plea and recognizing the severity of the situation, called upon the local spiritual leaders and shamans to assist. Together, they devised a plan to confront the bush baby and Madame Koi Koi. On the fateful night of the showdown, the entire school community gathered, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The air crackled with tension as the bush baby and Madame Koi Koi faced off one last time. In a display of unity and strength, the spiritual leaders unleashed powerful incantations and protective barriers around the school grounds. The bush baby and Madame Koi Koi, realizing that their reign of terror was coming to an end, fought with renewed ferocity. But against the combined might of the spiritual forces and the unwavering resolve of the students and staff, the Bush Baby and Madame Koi Koi stood no chance. With a final burst of energy, the spirits banished the malevolent entities from the school forever. As the first ray of dawn broke through the darkness, the school erupted into cheers and celebration. The nightmare was finally over. The students, now free from fear, returned to their studies with a newfound sense of peace and security.